Going on, everybody? Want to go over a topic that I've actually gotten a lot of laughs about. I have literally laughed out loud at, and I'm pretty sure you've all heard by now. Nancy Pelosi going into get her hair done at a salon, not wearing the mask inside the building, and all this before all everything was lifted. Now I get a laugh out of it because she's not wearing a mask with other people around, and yet she backs Joe Biden. She wants him in, but he's the one that's also saying, I'm going to make masks mandatory for everyone, no matter what. If you're inside, outside, even by yourself, you're to wear a mask. He is going to be that strict. So funny. Even your own people aren't going to be following that rule, which we have seen many times where we're seeing a lot of these Democrats saying, you can't do this, but I can. Basically, do as I say, not as I do, because they're allowed to do it, not you. It don't matter. But where it gets interesting and where I kind of start laughing is it really, especially what's taking place the past 2 days. The first one is when that was put out there, the salon owner. Now I don't know a lot about salons and barbershops. I don't have part in that. But when I read an article saying that it says video footage of her getting a shampoo and blowout. Now, first thing I think of when I hear a blowout, I'm thinking of a car tire. If it was going down the road, your tire blew out. That's a blowout to me. Then after reading a little more into it, it's actually just a blow dry, which that was one of the things, the rules that they weren't supposed to do. They weren't supposed to have, salons were not supposed to blow dry hair. Well, with all this, when the owner putting it out there saying that, or put this video out there showing, she said it wasn't a political matter, and honestly, I can see why she did it, and why she thought it was necessary to put the video out there. Well, because everybody, if you haven't watched it, look it up. I'll put it on the video where she's walking through a doorway, and you can see it's her. She's not wearing a mask at all. There's a woman that's in the camera. She walks out. She's wearing a mask. And you see Pelosi without the mask. And then right behind her is the man that's doing the hairdresser. It's her hairdresser. He's wearing a mask, but Pelosi's not allowed. She doesn't have to worry about it. She doesn't fit in with the rules that she has for everybody else. But when the salon owner puts out there, she's putting it out there to say this is the hypocrisy. This is the double standards in our government. The COVID-19 is being played out to be such a terrible thing through the Democrats. They're throwing it out for every little thing. Because I take the idea, or I look at what happened during the Republican convention. They're saying 1,500 people, hardly any of them with wearing masks. That's wrong. Well, we're going to have a huge outbreak. But then the following day, I'm not going against what the march was. Because this is something I read, or I watched on CNN. I even read the articles about it. If I can find it, I'll put a link to it. Where on CNN, they brought their own doctor on, did an interview with him, asking him his opinion on what's going to happen with the spread of COVID after the convention, the RNC, the very last night. He's saying it's going to be an upsurge from that event. And then, because it was an interview with Anderson Cooper, then he went on to ask, hey, well, what about the march that we're having right now in Washington for everything going on? They had Al Sharpton there. They had all sorts of people there. It's a group of, believe it was about 50,000 at least. All these people, side by side, people not wearing masks, shoulder to shoulder. Here you go. But this is fine because they are going for something that they believe in. We can't go to church, which people believe in, because, hey, that's a group. But we can march and we can go outside and stand shoulder to shoulder, basically on top of each other in a group of 50,000 people. That's fine. Nothing's going to happen because they are expressing their rights. Hypocrisy to no end. It's terrible. But to get back to the story, because that's where I was, what I want this to be about was the day or so later after she released the video saying this is what the hypocrisy is going on about. This is why she wanted to put it out there to let people see this is what is happening in our country with these Democrats, the way they're telling us to live, and that they don't follow it themselves. Well, now it goes back on to Pelosi. They're asking her. She does her press conference. She's talking about what it was. It's a setup. It is a setup. But I'm sitting there listening to it, and I'm laughing. It's okay. Well, this makes no sense. So why would a salon owner try to set you up for something like this? Because you're holding the $1.5 trillion, you're holding that up that can be spread out to the people of these small businesses to help them go to keep their businesses, not lose them. Now, she had the backing of the hairstylist that was doing her hair, saying it was all okay. This woman was doing this other times. It's okay, that's one thing. But when you have a political figure coming out and saying, don't do this, but she does it, that's not really helping the cause any. That is not a leader. She needed to be out. Then Pelosi putting it, well, I was set up. It was all a setup. She fell for it. She was embarrassed that she fell for the setup and demands an apology from the salon owner. I heard that. It was, again, I laughed out loud. This is just stupid. It was a woman, you need, wow, you're out there. When she demanded that, and I just sitting there and I said, well, this is taking a completely new, odd turn. And she's turning it now against this woman. Well, shortly after that, because I was just speaking about this with somebody, and right as soon as I got done, I went, sat down on the computer, started looking stuff up for a video, looking up different articles just to kind of see what was going on, and plastered right up on top, number one thing at the time when I saw this, the mayor of California. It's Donald Trump's fault. Wow. Donald Trump, President of the United States, set up a whole thing to get Nancy Pelosi in trouble at a hair salon. Wow. Now that took a new turn. I was like, whoa, okay. Now when Pelosi was demanding the apologies, whoa, this woman's getting crazy. Then I see this come from California mayor. She's saying this to Trump now. And I didn't even read the article. I just took it right back to who I was talking with about the topic. Went back to him and said, here, read this. I didn't even read the article. I just gave it to him. I said, read this. Just the title itself made me laugh. Now, I haven't read all of it. I know that it was... I don't see how Trump is part of this. He had nothing to do with it. So when I read that, I just start laughing, because this was from, I believe it was last night was when I saw it. Now I'm looking at it. I get up this morning, doing stuff, getting ready for the day. I have the TV on, kind of listening to what's going on in the news, and all of a sudden, I hear Trump's pardon on it. Now, listening to Trump talk, I get a laugh out of just listening to presidents talk, the way they speak, their speech patterns that they have, the way they talk, the way when they're doing interviews, or they're doing just basic things when they're talking to the press or anything, even just reading anything. It doesn't matter what it is, if it's handwritten or if it's coming off the top of their head. I always get a kick out of it because we have Trump. He shifts side to side, talking. So he's constantly moving on the podium. And it seems like every sentence he's doing that, or partway through a sentence, he's turning it, giving a dramatic pause every time. And I get a kick out of that. I think it's funny listening to him. Now, I'm not going to just stop with Trump. I go to Obama. That man he put William Shatner, and if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say William Shatner, old Star Trek, known for his acting from the show, was he would say something and then he would take a big dramatic pause partway through the sentence and then he'd finish. Obama blew him out of the water on that whole way of doing it. He could have put, and I'm pretty sure he did, put people to sleep. The way he talked was just so boring, and to me, my eyes would literally start drooping just watching him. Then we go back to Bush. Bush was funny because you never knew what he was going to say. He just came up with the weirdest things to say, and it was a riot. Clinton, that was before I really got it. I was old enough to understand politics and everything. So it's those three that I really enjoy. I know I've listened to Clinton. I've listened to a bunch of other presidents give speeches and everything. But at least these last three, I've gotten a huge kick out of and I've watched. But anyway, when Trump's talking, he's doing his thing, moving side to side on the podium, talking about how when he heard what Pelosi said, when she said that she was set up, he flat out did she really just say she was set up? And it's sitting there, I'm laughing. I said, yeah, at least you caught it. And he's sitting there, wow, if she was able to get set up from a hair salon owner business and fall for it, maybe she shouldn't be in office. Maybe she shouldn't be the head or the Speaker of the House. Maybe we need this woman that tricked her and put up this big setup and succeeded in setting her up. Maybe she should be in office. So of course, I start laughing because my feelings on Pelosi, I just start laughing. It's, oh, that would be great. It's right after they said that, because I was listening to it, as I just started laughing. And then they go on to say, this last thing that I've seen, and I had to stop and laugh because it was really funny to me, was that the people have actually gone to the street about it, with Pelosi saying, well, I was set up. It's not my fault. I was the victim. But it turned out to be, it's really backfiring, and it's because people are now out on the street hanging hair dryers and curling irons in the tree in front of her house, just hanging them. I'm sitting there and I was, oh man, this is finally, the Democrats are really starting to get their moments to show how bad these things can get. This week has been bad for Democrats altogether. It really has. And I love it. We've had Joe Biden go to Pittsburgh, give out a terrible speech where I walked away feeling dumber than ever than when I first started watching it. I was like, what did this man just say? Then we had the whole thing with Pelosi come out, and then her just adding fuel to the fire even more. And of course, then we have Biden again. Hey, I'm going to go to Kenosha, but I'm not going to address any of the stuff that's going to happen, what's been going on in Wisconsin, about how to help people. I'm going to go talk to Jacob Blake's dad and talk to Jacob Blake, but not bring up the fact that Blake was at this woman's house, that was a victim, that there was a warrant out because he had sexually assaulted this woman. He wasn't to be around her, and then he resisted arrest and got shot. It's a shame he got shot, but hey, you break the law, you're going to get shot. In my opinion, if you keep provoking it, you're going to make it worse. So I'm taking this past week. Unfortunately, I haven't had a video for the past couple of days. I've been trying to do more on trying to find better stories to really report on, because some of them have been really long. But I wanted to do this one because it just had such a funny twist towards everything. And I love watching it. And I love hearing it and talking about it because it just makes me laugh. Because they're going after Trump as much as they are. They're trying to set him up. Using their own words, they're trying to set him up for something he did when he didn't do it. Well, now they're claiming they were set up and being wrongfully charged for something that they say they didn't do, when we have footage that they did. And it's just finally, to me, the Democratic Party has made the biggest mistake they could all week, and I love it, and I do. I've been laughing all this week. Anytime I watch these videos, online, on TV, I read them in the paper or something. As I'm seeing these things, and yes, I still read newspapers. They might be antiquated, but I still gonna read them. They still at least put decent news in the paper of local events, so I'm definitely gonna read them. So I can say thank you again for Democrats. I gave my video I put out my video thanking the Democrats and Black Lives Matter and Antifa about all the stupid things they're doing, and it's screwing themselves over. Now I'm doing it for this. I'm thanking Democrats again. That goes right along with it, for you're making Trump look so good, and you're hurting yourselves in so many ways. Because even if you don't want, is Pelosi saying, we don't want Biden in the debates. We don't want him debating Trump. To me, that's verifying that you don't want him to do it, because you know he's going to ruin the chances and he's going to hurt himself. And it's going to just it's just going to give Trump the re-election. Me personally, that's how I see it. And like I said in other videos, these are my thoughts. This is how I honestly feel myself. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. It's your opinion. These are my opinions. If you don't agree with them, hey, I'm only one voice. But if you do agree with them, that's my that just adds to my voice a little more. To show I'm not the only one that has these type of thoughts and see it this way. So, with everything going on with the Democratic Party, and everything right now, all I can say is thank you, Democrats, for doing such dumb things to keep us going. You really are, and for helping Trump as much as you do. That's all I have to say, and I hope you enjoyed this video as much as you did any of the others. Thanks.